Fena Sewa. We are in blue.
Yes. So you were peeping wardrobe.
Yes. I enjoy doing that.
Oh Lord, yes. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm seeing something interesting here. We'll give you a lot of the details, but this one I have to say, you know, Sedwin Ketia went to the Techiman court with a generator, and people didn't understand why. So in the midst of going through the sheets, the light went off.
Oh, okay. So that was the reason.
That was the reason why he
went
went
with a generator. Is it really true?
It is. It's captured here. He went
with the Daily Post newspaper.
Yes, he went with a generator.
Oh, well,
he works prepared. I like him.
I would want to find out how Michael Dokosi got that story. But there's something interesting that is likely to happen to a lot of motorists next week.
Yes, I saw it.
The Motor Transport Traffic, that's MTTD, Motor Transport, no, Motor MTTD, you can't say. Motor Traffic Transport, I think, Department. Yes, MTTD. Sorry, I'm struggling for the actual pronunciation of the full name of this abbreviation. They are now going to enforce the spot fines. I have them here. I would wait when the production team is ready and we can show the list on the screen. I will go through a number of them. For example, if you park in highway or town road, you are going to receive a spot fine of between 120 and 300 cedis. Non-compliance with regulations on speed limits, you are going to pay 60 cedis. And then use of foreign driver's license, you are going to pay between 240 and 300 cedis. Failure to use seat belts, which is very common, and the police will get a lot of money here. Your spot fine is between 120 and 300 cedis. Then we have driving on the shoulder of the road. That's the 207 buses. Those of us who cry a lot on the Spintex road, and even some, I think on the 37, on the mile 7 stretch, those who drive on the shoulders of the road, your spot fine is there. I'll tell you a lot about this. But it's interesting. I became scared myself because I've counted about 12 of these offenses. On daily basis, about 12 of them, I break them. But next week, please, police, don't look for me. I won't even show you my car number. But this is the morning update. Yesterday, there were two sad incidents. The Mampong school facility, which was engulfed by fire. And then I think on Sunday, too, we also heard about the Kumasi Central Market, about 40 shops which got burnt, several properties destroyed. I think the Hamatan may still be lurking around some of these areas, and we need to adhere to the practices. In fact, we've seen many fire outbreaks at our markets, and one would have thought that, especially Kumasi Central Market, after all the difficulties they've gone through over the years, National Fire Service, which has the law backing it, because there's an act that empowers it to enforce its regulations, would have been able to demarcate areas to give it easy access to some of these markets. But unfortunately, what we see, even if you go to the Central Business District of Accra, you would realize that the traders have just taken over the pavements. If you go to the market itself, it's very difficult for them to operate. What's on your mind this morning? Well,
yesterday, I actually saw a sad story. One of the contestants for the National Science and Maths quiz lost his life to cancer. I mean, he was just 27.
I'm told he was reading PhD or a PhD student.
Yes, mechanical engineering also.
PhD in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Then that's great. I don't know. I just saw PhD.
University. Yes, York University. And also, I saw Ifya Schwarzenegger ranting on social media. Apparently, she was nearly robbed, and she had a gun. So the guys left her alone, and she was talking about how she loves violence, and so if you want to bring violence, she can combat that with violence as well. Okay. Yeah. So basically, that's
let her continue her Facebook things. I read something. Child Rights International, which has been the subject of conversation around is it Equiapim says that it is now going to embark on a project. It is targeting all these so-called Facebook celebrities. That's how I call them. I don't see them as celebrities. Facebook celebrities who use that platform to make all kinds of noise, and people find it so interesting to follow them. He's going to go after them.
good, but also they should go after the children who are on the streets
that's
begging.
Why, that's why I'm holding the graphic. That's why I'm holding the graphic.
Should go after them.
Front page daily graphic. I want to show it to you. It's talking about child beggars invaded in Accra. And so the story talks about the Ghana Police Service, particularly in Accra, embarking on a national exercise. And the agenda is to rid the streets of many of these child beggars. Sometimes it can be nuisance. If you drive around the Okponglo area, especially for those of us who live in Accra, it's become a hub for them to operate. And some of them know where the traffic builds up. So you see them around one particular area, and then maybe around midday, they know where traffic will build up, and then they move to those enclaves. There was a lady I saw once a while along the aviation road towards the airport, and this is a woman who will kneel down with a baby on her back, and she'll be crying and be begging for alms. In my opinion, it's total abuse of that child. And so if we see the police going after some of these street children, there are two things I want to see. Would it be appropriate for the police to begin to seize these children from their parents?
Yes.
And put them in the social welfare department? We have a lot of money in this country, and we spend this money on things that many would say are of less priority, but we do them for fanfare because of our political interest or the names or the tags we want to be associated with once our regime is in power. If we decide to allocate a lot of these funds to the social welfare departments across the country with special reference to deprived districts. So you come to Accra, it's the capital city, but you would realize that there are some parts of Accra, in spite of all the things you may want to consider to categorize it as maybe a metropolis, some of these districts are very, very poor, or the indigents there are extremely poor, and that is where these cases of child abuse goes on.
And so when they should catch the mothers and do compulsory family planning for them, because
maybe they should give them some work to do, because it's an offense itself. And so if we don't want to go the Ekuapem Polo way, I heard somebody saying that if you go to the Makola market, if you go to the Central Business District of Kumasi, of Kumasi, there are places where we need a lot of people to work. So give them communal labor. Let them sweep the highways, and let them do it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. And when they are subjected to this kind of public ridicule, I think it will be more deterrent than to go and cage them in the prisons.
Oh no, I was saying they should take them through compulsory family planning, because regardless, they will still do this, you know, without protection, and bring children into the world to suffer for it.
That would be an abuse of their rights. They have to enjoy life.
But they're not abusing the rights of the children they are bringing into the world. Look at this small child standing on the street with another baby behind her begging for money. Come on, Eric.
Well, Daily Graphic on its front page, child beggars invade Accra, exchange safety for arms.
Please let me hold you right there, because I need to make money. Yes, so we'll go and appreciate our sponsors, X Natural Mineral Water, and of course Black Secret Makeup. We'll be right back.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
into the headlines we have for today. I'll start with the Ghanaian Times, where it says police nab 138 motor riders for various offences in operation in Sekondi, Takoradi, whereas court has set aside, or the lawyer for Akuapem Polo is asking that the court should set aside 90-day sentence of Akuapem Polo. NLA KGL partnership generates more revenue for the state. Now, also over 500 hawkers structures demolished in Ayawaso municipality, whereas on the back page, Ghana Highway Authority is to replace Ayimensan's single toll booth with 3. Ghana Navy provides 72-bed quarters in Takoradi as well. Now, on the front page of the Daily Post, it says that Akufo-Addo and Bawumia's Ghana, expectant mother in labor, rushed to hospital on makeshift wooden door. As you can see right there, that's the mother lying on the door. Now, also, Sedun Ketia outfoxes them at Wenchi High Court with a standby generator, and he was right to do so, because right in the middle of what they were doing, the lights went off, and so people understood why he came with the generator. On the front page of the Chronicle, it says that suspected Alata jailbreakers arrested at Adafo. Now, last week we did mention that some people broke jail in Nigeria. Apparently, some of them came to Ghana and have been arrested. Also, Quail Chief battered by thugs and paraded on street half naked. John Kuma deputizes Oforiata at Finance Ministry. Akuapem Polo is making headlines here again as her lawyer pushes for the court to put 90-day sentence aside. Okay, so I'm continuing with the Daily Graphic. The center spread says preparations ripe for migration onto digital terrestrial television. And then we have accountants asked to leverage technology to facilitate work. I want to share with you how it comes on the center spread of the Daily Graphic newspaper. The back page, police impound 1,040 motorbikes in Accra. And then the fire that destroyed parts of the Kumasi Central Market is also captured on the back page of the Daily Graphic. The Enquirer, National Enquirer, front page has the pictures of some NDC gurus. John Mahama, Johnson Asedun Ketia, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, Asi Gusi Tando. And then we see 2 MPP gurus, the former Chief Justice and Nana Akufo-Addo. The headlines, NDC embarks on reform after Jean Mensah Supreme Court unanimous verdict on 2020 polls. And then Gusi Tando talks tough, and chop 12.4 billion COVID-19 money missing. This also on the front page of the National Enquirer. Abena, let me do the Business and Financial Times quickly. This one says Moody's keeps economists' credit outlook at B3 negative, and government acquired Airtel Tigo for $1. I don't know, but that's how it is, $1. But if you look at the supporting lead, it says some shareholder loans forgiven, repayment of $100 million facility from Standard Bank split. So that's how it is on the front page of the Business and Financial Times. You have finished with your papers, I guess. Now, I have the last one, which is the Daily Dispatch. NDC engaged in post-Mahama Jocelyn. Ben Efson is talking here. And KGL's contract with us will boost our finances. These are the big stories on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. What's next? Yes, so Wisdom Hedajome is on standby with details of some of the headlines we've discussed, so stay tuned.
Welcome to AutoCheck Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to so many hour cracks.
Sure.
Check, auto checks, check, auto checks, check.
Emission, check.
Auto checks.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check. Visit AutoChecks at Koforidua Aquadum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much.
Auto checks.
Auto checks. Check.
Auto checks. Your safety, our priority.
Check. Auto checks.
Peace of mind is very essential in your journey to success. For Akwesi Papa, peace of mind means having a proper covering over his family. Literally. For Araba, aka Injection Mama, it's about having the funds to complete her advanced nursing course. And as for Corporal Odami, it's as simple as reporting on time for his shifts. Sometimes all you need is a simple push. At Needs Microfinance, we have tailor-made loan packages for salaried workers under the Controller General's Department. With the low interest rate and quick wahala-free process, you are guaranteed of a timely solution to get back that peace of mind, literally in 30 minutes. Needs Microfinance. Growing with you.
We are one man short. Should we invite him?
Yeah.
It be old cargo. Can I join you guys?
Yeah.
Always drink fresh, natural mix, mineral water.
You still got it. Always keep hydrated naturally. That's my secret.
Manufactured with the primary aim of preserving nature's finest minerals necessary for a healthy mind and body. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
I love makeup. Applying it gives me so much joy. But when it's time to take it off, nothing does the job quite like the Black Secret Makeup Wipes. When I go somewhere and I feel really sweaty, I take my Black Secret wipe and I use it on my face. It picks me up and I don't look as tired as I did when I walked in.
Before I work on a client's face, I like to go over it with Black Secret Makeup Wipes to make sure the face is clean. It doesn't leave the face dry and tight, but it keeps it soft and moisturized.
Wipe say your bodo.
Bakope, and it gets the job done. Or baby, and the smell makes the experience even better.
It's Tuesday, April 20. Good morning and many thanks for joining TVXYZ News this morning. Now coming up, news about government acquisition of Elta Tigo fuels more suspicions as minority demands for details amidst fear of another state capture plan. Water crisis to hit Tema Ashaman Enclave over lack of contingency plan as GWCL begin work on the bone treatment plant the whole of this week. Also in this bulletin, professional private school teachers offered 3-year moratorium to acquire certificates or be prepared to sack. We shall tell you why the National Teaching Council means business this time round. And new chieftaincy minister calls on National Chief Imam proposes succession plan among other national issues discussed. Details of these and other stories coming up. Please stay with us. Thanks for your company. My name is Weston Heather Jimmy. Let's begin the bulletin, and news about government acquisition of Elta Tigo is fueling suspicions. Now, last week, the news took many by surprise, but there is red herring. Now, suspicions arrive the move is a decoy and part of a grand state capture plan. Deputy ranking on the Communications Committee of Parliament, Sam George, who is critically following the trend of event, is calling on government to make public the full details of the said transaction. Now, he said Sector Minister Esla Owusu Ekufo will be compelled to answer compelling questions soon.
Transfer of the Airtel Tigo shares to Government of Ghana, along with customers, assets and agreed liabilities, is as a result of the telco giant's decision to bow out of the Ghanaian market to focus on other markets on the continent. Already, analysts say Airtel Tigo's exit from Ghana's telecom industry, which is the third vibrant and successful industry in sub-Saharan Africa, leaves much to be desired, and government must not hold on to the company for a long time. Communication and Digitization Minister Esla Owusu Ekufo said government through this transaction will temporarily operate this national asset in the best interest of the nation and ensure the protection of the interests of all employees, customers and stakeholders, and the continuation of the digital transformation in Ghana. A Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram, Samuel Nete George, who is also deputy ranking on the Communication Committee of Parliament, says government must, as a matter of accountability, provide full disclosure of the agreement. He says the bitter experience and lessons from Ghana Telecommunication, which was sold to Vodafone, and the government's failure in undertaking its shareholding obligations to Tigo before it merged with Airtel, leaves room for vigilance this time round.
If that is part of the reason why Airtel had to merge with Airtel Tigo because of the financial standing and the difficulties they were having, today they've merged, and we're being told the same government that failed to make payments on its obligations to Airtel is buying the whole Airtel Tigo. We want to know what is the state of Airtel Tigo. When we understand what the state of Airtel Tigo, what's the valuation that's been put on it? Is it commercially viable? And is Airtel Tigo a commercially viable entity, or is government just buying this and a few months down the line we're going to be told that government is selling it off to a private individual or a group of individuals? We need to understand, because we are minded by the history of government in Airtel, the history of government in Ghana Telecoms, and we want to ensure that the right thing is done this time.
The Ningo Pram Pram lawmaker served notice the Communications Committee will hold the Communications and Digitization Minister Esla Owusu Ekufo to answer questions as soon as the House reconvenes next month.
Understanding of what agreements and what documents she has that has led her to sign that agreement. Government has no business buying and selling. Government is not a retail shop. If government has bought it, and government must run it. You understand me? So we are not anticipating that government should buy and sell.
Let's do some education stories now. And unlicensed teachers in private schools have up to the next 3 years to acquire professional certificate or brace themselves for the consequences if the National Teaching Council decides to crack the whip. NTC, which has issued a deadline for all teachers to register for their license, says the moratorium for private schools teachers will not be extended. Registrar Christian Adaipoku explains in the following.
Years ago, teachers' unions, NAGRATS, NAT, and CCT Ghana vehemently opposed the introduction of licensure exams. They argued certified teachers with years of experience could not be subjected to exams to determine whether they are qualified or not. But the National Teaching Council says the new regime announced last week has carefully considered all concerns, and stakeholders have all agreed on the compromised position. That is blanket licensing of all certified teachers before June 2018. All qualified personnel are to register by May 7 or lose their right to teach. NTC Registrar Christian Adaipoku rejects assertions that the process will become conduit for intimidation and other forms of abuse rather than ensuring quality of work.
The deadline for registering on the Ghana Teacher Portal is on the 7th. of May. Then after registering, NTC will move from district to district, circuit to circuit to issue the license. So it is the entire process that we're saying teachers must avail themselves. If the teachers don't avail themselves and then the process ends, it means you will be illegally practicing as a teacher.
The NTC warns that failure to comply means automatic disqualification in line with Section 64(1) of the Education Regulatory Bodies Act 2020, Act 1023. He admits the new regime threatens private school teachers, but says the 3-year moratorium will be offered, after which those who fail to acquire professional certificates will be kicked out of the system.
When we finish with the in-service teachers, we're going to deal with the unqualified teachers or the non-qualified teachers. They will be issued a temporary license for 1 year. If by 1 year they have not been able to upgrade themselves, they get another 1 year, and then they get another 1 year. So 3 years within which they are expected to upgrade themselves to a level that would earn them a full qualified teacher's status. We have started talking to the private school associations to make sure that we work with them and get these teachers equipped enough such that by the time that the moratorium elapses, that person would have been qualified to continue to practice as a teacher.
Director General of the Ghana Education Service is expected to instruct all teachers to comply to prevent any chaos in the coming months.
Now, if you live within the Tema Ashaman enclave and do not have enough storage facilities, brace yourself for the impending water crisis this week. This is because the Ghana Water Company is embarking on a major maintenance work on the Kpone treatment plant, but the company is yet to announce its distribution plan for essential service providers and those who do not have enough and large reservoirs.
Last week, the Ghana Water Company served notice it will cut supply to Tema and Ashama Enclave beginning today to pave way for major maintenance works on the Kpone water treatment plant. The company subsequently urged customers to store enough water to cover the period ending Friday, April 23rd. Ghana Water Company Limited, however, did not publish any plan for institutions running essential services, including the Tema General Hospital and schools within the affected areas.
It's going to affect us a lot, even in our area. Those who defecate on the gutters, they are going to make good use of the place, because when all the toilets are closed.
They'll help she say, yes, you know.
TVXYZ News checks within the Ashaman community suggest people are complying and are filling their reservoirs.
We don't have enough containers to store the water. Even a friend of mine gave me this little gallons. Imagine when it gets finished. I'm a nursing mother, breastfeeding a newborn baby. How can I leave my newborn baby at home and go around searching for water?
Containers that we store the water, we don't have enough. So if water gets finished now, it means there is no food.
Affected communities, including the entire Tema Township, that is Community 1 to 12, Tema New Town, Tema Industrial, Kpone, Gulf City, Bediako, part of VRE, Seki, Community 25, and the Tema General Hospital. Customers in Ashama, specifically the Timber Market, Bethlehem, Jericho, Lebanon, Sebrepo, Kakasunanka, Michelle Camp, Botemai, Santor, Ashama Sun City, and the main township.
So the Tema New Town area is one of the deprived communities, and that community also will be affected by this decision of the Ghana Water Company. Let's go to the phone and speak to MP for the area, Ni Ashi Odamte. Honorable, good morning and many thanks for your time. So first of all, have you assessed the impact of the GWCL's action, and what are you doing to push your people through?
Good morning, and thank you very much for the opportunity. The name is Isaac Ashai Odamson.
Okay, thank you, sir.
MP for Tema 8 constituency. Yeah, this discussion is timely, and it ought to engage the minds of stakeholders, because the effect of water rationing or lack of water affects people or settlements differently. You would agree with me that in some sparsely populated settlements, their water storage situation can take them a longer stage before they run out. But for a community and a constituency such as mine, if you look at the two main areas, which is Tema Community 1, which comprises a lot of sites, and then Tema Maindia, which is also a very big, both built up area and a lot of sprouts or strata settlers. And so this challenge is not only coming from this current announcement from the Ghana Water Company, but it's been with us for a while. And I recall in Parliament during the World Water Day, we called attention to the fact that the situation is becoming dire. And it is time for us to rise and deal with the issue of water scarcity. You see, the impact on my constituency is heavier. And if you look at the current situation of COVID-19, which requires safety protocols that would need that the constituency would need water to adhere to, then it must inform policymakers and stakeholders in water production to ensure that enough notice is given and some arrangements must be made for water storage. What have we done? Since my assumption of water office, I have been in touch with the Ghana Water Company regional office in Tema Community 1. And in fact, it's been very good engagement, especially their corporate affairs manager, Mr. Ampa, and the head of finance, Mr. Baki. And the issue is that occasionally we provide tanker services, tanker water services for the community. But the challenge is that the community is densely populated. And so whenever you say on this year, doesn't go around everyone. And this is the problem we have in terms of constituency.
So this has been over time. What is the assembly doing in the interim?
That's a very good question. Unfortunately, the planning horizon of the assembly is one that looks at the challenge as one that doesn't concern them. But I disagree, because the first responsibility of the assembly is to intervene in municipal services, i.e. waste management, be it solid or liquid, and utility services. Fortunately for us, utility services are paid for. Electricity is paid for. Water is paid for. And so these are services that are profitable. So we would expect that its availability will be continued. Its availability will be there. Because if you compare the Tema East constituency with, say, let's say, Adenta constituency or even Medina constituency, we'll be dealing with different needs, critical needs. And so I expect the Tema Metropolitan Assembly to address this issue by having a medium to long-term plan, immediate and medium-term plan that would make water availability a constant thing. What am I referring to? We need to begin to think about water with the world. We need to begin to think about dedicated lines. No, rather, the problem is going to be with us because if you look at the lines that provide water to the Tema area from Pong or from Yotuwa where the new water reservoir is or from Pong, the lines that come to Tema, we all see the traveling communities along the stretch from Afilina, Matariko, Destrako, I mean, a lot of settlements have come when it comes to this place. So what is happening is that both pressure and volumes are going down. The pressure that must run towards the coast before the Temamaya come to run Akumono, back in our areas, the pressure has gone down. And that is what is taking the problem. And so I think that we have stuck for a long time for this problem to overwhelm us. I would continue to intervene that you see, government and government institutions must not renege their responsibility to push residents to now look at the assembly members and the members of parliament to fill the gap. I think that the gap.
You continue with your engagement with the assembly and the folks while government also seeks to do it. But many thanks for your time this morning. We are so grateful. And Isaac Ashi Odante is MP for Tema West, and he's been speaking to us on the impending water crisis. Now let's do some other stories. And this time, critics say government decision to extend the period for the second vaccine doses has exposed the haphazard manner in which government is managing the COVID-19 pandemic.
Have rejected government's excuse for deferring the date for the second AstraZeneca jabs. Director General of the Ghana Health Service says it's to buy time for people to be ready and assures the 4-week delay won't have any repercussions for those who took the first jab. A section of the public, including medical practitioners, are however concerned that Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Pachukuma Abuaje, failed to provide timelines and plans towards inoculating 20 million targeted. There is also no indication yet about what Ghana has paid for and when the stock will arrive. Of the over 800,000 who have been vaccinated so far, 600,000 of the doses were donated under the WHO COVAX program. MTN Africa also provided almost 320,000, 50,000 from the Indian government, while Ghana, according to health services data, has procured only 2,000 vaccines. This according to Dr. Thomas Anaba, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Health Policy, Research and Analysis, raises eyebrows. He spoke to TV XYZ by phone.
Our worry is the people having conflicting information about the coming in of the vaccine, going to vaccinate, with all the hula balloons that we heard about it before people started receiving the vaccine. If we continue giving people mixed information that is not convincing, we will have a lot of people rejecting the virus, and that will be at the peril of this country.
Now to some other stories, and the new Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs has proposed to the National Chief Imam to document a succession plan to prevent future future conflict, especially in district and regions. Now he made the recommendation when he paid a first official visit to Sheikh Nuhu Saributu during which he made donation to the Chief Imam to support the Ramadan fast.
The courtesy call by Ebenezer Kojokum, his first in official capacity since his appointment as Chieftaincy Minister, was to seek National Chief Imam Sheikh Usmanu Nuhu Saributu's blessing and also to create the conduit for consultation on critical national issues. Key among what was discussed was the need to well document succession plans of chief imams to avoid needless tensions and conflict, similar to the crisis which compelled Municipal Security Council to lock the whole central mosque. But for the swift intervention of the police, there would have been a bloody clash over who succeeds Alhaji Umaru Danjima Hamza, the former regional chief imam. The Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, who was accompanied by Chief Director and other management staff, also used the occasion to present some food items, provisions and cash of 5,000 cedis to support the Chief Imam's office to assist the needy during the Ramadan fast. Chieftaincy Minister Ebenezer Kojokum later spoke to TV Xwaza News.
This issue of succession to or the appointment or selection of chief imams, national chief imams, there seems to be no laid down procedures or mechanism for the selection of these leaders, as a result of which quite recently there was an impasse in the Volta region concerning who was qualified to be the regional chief imam.
The chief imam, who spoke through an interpreter, expressed gratitude to the minister for the respect shown to his office and pledged to offer him the needed support.
And let's end with a sad story. And the administrative block of the Mampong Technical Institute in the Ashanti region was virtually consumed by fire yesterday morning. The fire, which reportedly started at 8 a.m. from one of the offices, spread fast to other rooms, making it difficult for access to douse the flames. TVX Swaza News has learnt firefighters, however, managed to control the blaze, but valuable equipment, administrative document, certificate, receipt, among others, in 8 rooms, including the accountant office, have been destroyed. Witnesses say the cause of the fire, which started from the top floor, is yet to be established. And that's all we have time for this morning on News in Brief or Morning Update. As always, do log on to my xyzonline.com for more. My name is Weston Hedejman. When we return, Nana Abena continues with Morning Update. Good morning.
If I cry na menyisika, edia ye mefui.
Ehifa pa na menya bosia, edia tre medjuma yimu.
Kai kra mabre, ni busia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yemamwa kwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodo bi te sɛ gadifo abosia, ekoko abosia, susu account. Eni da so wo ho savings account. Me bada chain savings account. Ene de keka ho. Suhum Rural Bank was 03422919896. Na won so wetumi aka sɛ
Suhum Rural Bank ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank enti mepa minie.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Welcome back to the morning update on TV XYZ, proudly brought to you by X Natural Mineral Water and of course Black Secret Makeup. A few things you should know about the Black Secret Makeup wipes is the fact that it clears your black spots and also is anti-aging and it takes away excess oil. So if you're like me who has excess oil on your face, and the best brand that you should go for in terms of facial wipes is definitely the Black Secret Makeup. Now today we will be talking about our expenditure and investment, how we spend our monies and why we are not able to invest going forward. A lot of times people, even me, we spend money on shiny objects, i.e. material possessions, because some believe that that will give them some sort of self-actualization, or it will help them keep up with the Joneses, that is, keep up with the trends that is going on. Also, what I have identified is with the fact that some people spend based on their emotions, and emotions are not static, they are variant, and so they keep changing. Sometimes people shop when they are happy, people shop when they are sad, and if you keep doing this, it means that you are actually causing financial loss to your pocket, because every time that you feel some sort of way, if you are going to buy something, then in the end of the day you would have nothing left at all. There's also the bit where people also spend based on the fact that, as I indicated earlier, they want to keep up with the Joneses. I know someone who has been waiting for close to 3 years now for somebody to invest in her business, but she has all the expensive, which has the Bohemian hair, she has the, name it, Mexican hair, the Chinese hair. Now there is something called bone straight hair that every lady wants to acquire as well. And it's not just the ladies. I know guys who constantly want to change their phone, get the Google Pixel, top up and buy iPhones, and waiting for people to invest in their businesses when these monies can actually help them invest in themselves. Now, before I even delve deeper into this conversation, Kwakesi was saying something interesting about investing money whilst you're young in order to be able to move forward in life. And I would want you to listen to exactly what he was saying in this video.
Ghana people, they buy, see, people car be their dream. You buy car, somebody they rent some corner crowd, then you go buy Toyota, then you go come, hey, Masa, I bought a Range Rover for my Land Rover for my wife, expensive car. America car is nothing. In America, car is nothing. I dash out my Mustang. I dash it out. What is here? I don't need those kind of things. I can buy a car anytime, inshallah. Thanks to God, you know. I don't need car. I need future for myself and my family. What is here? I bought my car. My first expensive car. It was a Cadillac CTS. I bought it for $20,000 in 2008. I bought it from Kwame Fache. Go and ask him. $20,000 in 2008. If I had saved that money or invested that $20,000 from 2008, right now that money would have been a lot. I bought my Mustang for $35,000 in 2013. $35,000. If I had saved up $35,000 and used it for business, right now it would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars. What there's here, it went to waste. I bought a lot of cars on the way. I bought the one Kumasi people that they use. Those times, no artists even had car in Ghana. I bought 3 cars. Ask me where the cars they are waste of money. So now we invest our money in something lucrative, something that will bring us money back in the future. What I say? So I don't believe in cars. I don't believe in shada. Though, you know, you have to look good. I try to look good when I have to. But I don't fancy going to buy this designer, going to buy this designer, going to buy this car. Range Rover has come, go and buy it. No, massa. If you buy a car today, tomorrow the value goes down. But if you buy a house, you can resell it and make more money. And that is where we are investing our money in. Something that will bring us back something lucrative. Something like in the next 10 years, if I'm not able to do music, it can support me. Something that in the next 5 years, 10 years, if I'm not now the music, most of the artists in Ghana make money performing. It's through performances that we make money. The streams is not enough. Streams cannot buy you a Bentley. What they say, streams is good, but you need something that will also add up. And don't think, you people think about today. I don't think about today. That's what I'm telling you. In 2008, I bought a car for $20,000. That car is worthless now. What I say, if I had saved all those money and invested in maybe farms, by this time come it to coaching. So don't let what you see on social media lead you into something.
Indeed, don't let what you see on social media lead you to do something that you're not supposed to do or invest in your future. That was Kwakese talking about how he wasted money when he had more to invest and thinking that he would have made much more if he had invested earlier. Now, whilst we are on investment, I will be talking to an investment expert. He has been here before. He came to talk to us about how to save money or invest money during COVID. And so today we'll be talking to him about how we can also save money towards our future. His name is George David Horatio, and he's an investment advisor at Echo Capital Investment Management Limited. Good morning, Horatio. Hello, Horatio. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Abna. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's good to speak to you again. How have you been?
Yes, same here. I've been doing good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, we are talking about millennials mostly, and even some adults wasting money and not necessarily thinking about investment. Now, we saw a video where Kwakese was talking about how he spent $200,000 to buy a car in 2008, and this seems to cut across from musicians to footballers to individuals who basically money earlier. Actually, he spent $20,000 to buy the car, and this cuts across. What accounts for this specifically, though?
Yes, a big good morning.
Are you still there?
I would say that. Hey, please.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. A lovely good morning to your viewers and listeners nationwide. I would say that, wealth creation and financial independence is a function of time. When you look at the professional average working life, or let me say the average professional working life of people, it's usually 30 years when it comes to those who work in the corporate life, the normal spheres of life. When you look at those we call the superstars and celebrities, they have the advantage of making money earlier in life. Okay, so there are certain temptations which will be driven by sometimes the industry they find themselves in, and then sometimes to prove a point to society that all is well with them. Sometimes it could also be driven by their following. That is why when you go to the environment outside this country, when you go to the US, you go to UK and other places, you realize that they, even though they are spending and all that, they also have what they call their personal financial advisor. So let me give you an instance. The legendary boxer Mike Tyson had His Excellency Donald Trump Jr. as his personal financial advisor. So we realize that even though they are doing the spending and all that, they have controls in place to help them also to invest and diversify their investments. But here in this country, that is what we lack. There's a bereavement of advice, financial advice. That is number one. Number two, realize that when you look at our school curriculum, we don't teach personal financial management. Sure. It's not something that is taught. You understand? So someone is expected to go through school, come up with good grades, graduate, and then get yourself enrolled in the working community, and then you make money. But there's nothing that is informing your financial decisions. So such a person would come out and has no knowledge of how to manage finances. I think these are some of the things that account for the testimony we are seeing here by our musician. Yeah.
But you would agree with me when I say that money wastage is sort of relative. So in general terms, from your professional point of view, what constitutes money wasting?
Yeah, so when we waste money, it's because we have no knowledge. We don't have understanding. You see, money doesn't come to those who need it more. You understand? If you are sick, that doesn't mean money should work to you. Money comes to those who deserve it. Now, you waste money because perhaps, like I mentioned earlier, you want to prove point. One thing you must know about wealth creation and financial independence is that it's a function of time. And when you skip the stage of going through the necessary process of time to create wealth, if you are not careful, you may be affected by this lack of financial wisdom. So you realize that a lot of people, having not been through, for instance, our athletes and our musicians and the big time guys, they tend to get money very early in life, at the very early stages of their career. So having not been able to go through the process of time to create wealth, they lack to some extent, the financial wisdom. Okay, that comes with that comes naturally with the process of time it takes to create wealth. And that's how come they are not able to apply wisdom to their expenditure. You understand? Let me give you a quick example. Someone who makes $20,000 in 20 years, it is uncommon to find such a person to waste that money away compared to someone who makes $20,000 by playing maybe one show in the US. You understand? So when we're able to put this in two perspectives, you can tell what accounts for the wastage. Apart from the lack of financial education and all that. So I'm hoping that maybe sometime to come, the stakeholders such as the banks, the investment advisors, and then the investment club, how do you call it, the fund managers and all that, must set up investment communities, investment clubs in our schools, so that society would in the end churn out financially responsible citizens wherever they find themselves, whether in the sporting disciplines, the music industry, movie industry, wherever. When they end up at high places such as government, they can take financial responsible decisions for themselves and also for the economy by avoiding such wastages.
Right. I think I agree completely with you on that, because someone is trying to sell me insurance and I'm very skeptical about it because he's saying I won't get all my money in the end. But at this point, how do you know that you are throwing away an investment opportunity, i.e. treasury bills, etc., like what I just stated? Someone is trying to sell me an insurance policy and I'm not leaning towards it because I don't feel it's going to be very beneficial in the end.
Okay, so to know whether a particular package is beneficial, whether it will be low yield or high yield, whether it would have been better you even invested in any business and all that. Okay, so actually, you must first of all understand that investments are driven by objectives. That's number one. Number two, the price you pay to benefit from investment is time. That is the price you pay. Now, we don't go into investments with a mentality of get rich quick. You understand? If you go with that, mentality, you are flawed from the beginning. Investment demands time, demands patience, and you need to go through a process of time. That is how investments work. So after you've assessed the investment product that has been sold or that is going to be sold to you, you also have to understand three things. Number one, your risk tolerance. Number two, the tenor of your investment. And then number three, your investment objectives. If these three things do not fall in place with the type of investment package that is being sold to you, it means it doesn't belong to you. So let me give you an example. For instance, if you take someone who is going on pension, you can't advise such a person to go into stocks. So if an investment product is going to be sold to you and you are just at the brink of getting into your pension, it would be unadvisable professionally to put those monies in stock, because we know how stocks work with volatilities and all that, and you may not be able to yield the kind of results you may be expecting in the nearest possible time. That's number one. And also, being an elderly person, you may have some other responsibilities which would demand ready cash available. So stocks doesn't give you that opportunity. So you have to weigh your objectives and then know why you should invest in product A or product B. So that being said, you also have to understand, because some people will come to you and then want to find out, why would I put my money in treasury bill? Why would I put my money in this? Why wouldn't I rather put my money in a business, let's say a pure water business, or let's say a cement business, or this business, or that business? The issue is that, you see, when it comes to investment...
All right, so can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, sorry, because of time, we would have to end the interview here. But just as I said, I promised earlier on that we'll bring you back. We did bring you back. And so we'll bring you back again to have an extensive conversation with regards to investment.
That is okay.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us. So we have been talking to George David Horatio, investment advisor at Echo Capital Investment Management Limited, telling us about how we can properly invest and also the expectations we put in when we invest our monies as well. Definitely, this has been the social segment on the Morning Update on TV XYZ. My name is Nana Abnasawa, and this program is brought to you by X Natural Mineral Water and Black Secret Makeup. Eric is on standby.
We are one man short. Should we invite him?
Yeah.
It be old cargo.
Can I join you guys? Yeah.
Always drink fresh, natural, mixed mineral water.
still got it. Always keep hydrated naturally. That's my secret.
Manufactured with the primary aim of preserving nature's finest minerals necessary for a healthy mind and body. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
This is TVXYZ. This is morning update. I don't know if I look nice in the nose mask. Sometimes it just falls flat on your face. And there are times you wear it and you feel that you are looking nice.
Really?
Yeah, Titi, I can see you well.
Interesting.
Because the two of us have sung with you. So,
that's what I mean.
We can see the full Titi. If you had blood your face, would you have seen your beard?
That's very true. That's absolutely
Titi Kateno is a member of the NDC's National Communications Team. You are welcome.
Thank you, Eric.
Is it team or bureau? You are messing it up. They don't have a team.
National Communications Bureau.
Sure.
But in somebody's business.
No, but you see, you want to give him what he doesn't take. So put him where he belongs.
Charlie, it looks like Eric, this is the B for you.
No, Eric.
If I see your combination, Charlie, solid. Kafu Amega is a member of the NPP's National Communications Team.
Yes, right. Yeah, you said it right.
And then you are Bureau. So this morning there's a lot of things we have to talk about. There's not we don't have much time. I enjoyed the conversation Abena had with the gentleman who was helping us to understand why we need to take good care of the little monies we get. There was a musician who said he used to buy a car, $30,000, $40,000, front them, and later all the cars are parked. Sometimes he dashes them away. After years, he realizes that Waseiska, people carry phones, expensive ones, around, and their pockets are dry. I'm carrying them. If I value the phones I'm holding and I value the size of my wallet, I ask myself whether I am making the appropriate investment. The gentleman today will be discussing with us the Airtel Tigo Brouhaha. We listened to the deputy ranking member on the Communications Committee of Parliament. He's raising some concerns that, look, we've had experiences before. Ghana Telecom, Vodafone, we have Airtel Tigo. What went around the acquisition of shares, payments government should have made, which were never made, the acquisition of Airtel Tigo itself, and government-owned pronouncements. I'm talking about Esleusu, that Ghana is going to hold it temporarily and later transfer it to a strategic investor who is interested in buying Airtel Tigo to manage. And Sam George has been raising some issues. We'll be listening to him shortly. And then we'll also look at the potential crisis to face Accra Tema, especially eastern part of Accra to be specific, when Ghana Water Company shuts down the Pong water treatment plant for the usual maintenance works. It will continue for at least 4 days. We are hearing conflicting reports. Some say 2 days, but the official statement I have seen said 4 days. Actually, one said from today to Thursday to Friday. I've seen another one making reference to Accra, talking about Thursday and Friday. But the fact is, what arrangement is the GWCL putting in place to ensure that essential service providers or those in very deprived communities in Accra still have access, even if they have to buy? And then we look at the school program, the allowance for teachers, allowance for NAPCO trainees. They have issued 2 separate statements that they have not been paid. Many of these will be part of the conversation. I told you, Kafui Amega is a member of the NPP's National Communications Team. Titi Kateno is not new to TV and radio. The name rings a bell. Sorry for that. And he's also a member of the NDC's National Communications Bureau. Let's listen to Sam George, and then we'll begin our conversation now.
That there needs to be full disclosure to the people of Ghana through Parliament, through its representatives in Parliament. We need to have a fair understanding what the deal entails. What is the current state of Airtel Tigo? Because we know that before the merger of Airtel and Tigo, government had shares in Airtel. Airtel did appear before the parliamentary committee and let us know that government had failed over the years to make payments for the infrastructure for its shareholding in Airtel. And so if that is part of the reason why Airtel had to merge with Airtel Tigo, because of the financial standing and the difficulties they were having, today they've merged and we're being told the same government that failed to make payments on its obligations to Airtel is buying the whole Airtel Tigo. We want to know what is the state of Airtel Tigo. When we understand what the state of Airtel Tigo, what's the valuation that's been put on it? Is it commercially viable? And is Airtel Tigo a commercially viable entity, or is government just buying this and a few months down the line we're going to be told that government is selling it off to a private individual or a group of individuals? We need to understand, because we are minded by the history of government in Airtel, the history of government in Ghana Telecoms, and we want to ensure that the right thing is done this time. So we would ask those questions. Well, it's her ministry that is overseeing this and is leading this. She's responsible to the Communication Select Committee of Parliament, and so she would have to come and give us understanding of what agreements and what documents she has that has led her to sign that agreement. Parliament is on recess now, but we're trying to see how well the committee can be brought together. Members are out of town, but if we're able to get members back in town before the resumption of parliamentary sitting in the middle of May, we would start investigations on that. If not, as soon as Parliament is back, she'll be brought before the House. Government has no business buying and selling. Government is not a retail shop. If government has bought it, and government must run it. You understand me? So we are not anticipating that government should buy and sell. No, government doesn't run a corner shop.
So you heard Samuel Nete George. He's the MP for Ningo Pram, a deputy ranking member of the Communications Committee of Parliament. And now, for the purpose of adding some information from government sources, what we are told is that government acquired all shares in Airtel Tigo for $1. The Minister of Communication and Digitization, Esla Usu Ekufo, has revealed. According to her, the current state of the company and the circumstances under which the shareholders decided to exit the market led to the acquisition of the company at the said amount. The move, according to her, is to offer government and the new shareholders some financial space to reinvest into the company to bring it out of the challenges it is bedeviled with. In addition to this, government has renegotiated many of the loan facilities the company had entered into and been able to achieve a high level of debt forgiveness. To further better the balance sheet of the company, the former shareholders and government agreed to equally share a 100 million facility acquired from Standard Bank. The facility remains one of the largest debts on the company's books. And it goes on and on. I'll provide additional information as the discussion starts. Let me start with you, Titi. Sam Nate George is a member of your party who says government is not in the business of buying and selling. I don't know if you have also followed this conversation and what your take is on the position as we stand now.
Good morning, Eric, and good morning to our chairs viewers wherever you are. Before I come to the issue of this Airtel Tigo, I want to say a very good morning to my father, Julius Deborah, and my mother, Madam Valerie Sawyer. We remember a year ago we lost my grandma, which is Madam Valerie Sawyer's mom, and she has given me some indication that this month, on the 28th of this month, she will unveil the tomb of her mother at the Gethsemane Cemetery. I would wish to entreat all those who love and care about her to note the dates down so that when the day arrives, we can go and help her, accompany her, and wish her mother well in the new tomb that is going to be unveiled. Coming to Airtel Tigo issues, Eric, you would agree with me that in the past we've had issues with government buying and selling. There was an issue of Ghana Telecom back in the days of President John Ajekum Kufuor, where we had, stories fly in Parliament that members of Parliament were given $5,000 to be able to approve that deal to be sold to Vodafone. Today we are hearing that Airtel Tigo is being sold to be bought by government, and then government is going to resell it. I don't know if government is going to repackage. When you listen to Sam George and the information we gathered earlier, truly speaking, government had shares already in it. And the merger that happened between Airtel Tigo was a financial problem. They didn't have the capacity to be able to run. So they merged so that they would have good standing financially. And years down the line, now government wants to buy it. And even if they hadn't added that they want to sell it after, we would have had a clear conscience that say, government is going to buy it and run it. But if government officials are telling us today that they are going to buy Airtel Tigo, something that we have shares already in it, and then look for a strategic buyer to sell it to. Then people will begin to ask questions that what is the intent? What is the purpose? Why not look for the strategic buyer now and sell it straight away? Why does government want to buy and sell? Is it like my brother Sam George is saying, is it about the profit or the margins or the gains that some people are going to make after they buy it to government and then resell it, or what? It is important that in deals like this that has government stake in it, there should be a lot of transparency. I agree to the core of Sam George that there should be a lot of transparency in this sale, that whatever is being done in the transaction, the details of the transaction, we would get full disclosure of the transaction so that everybody gets a clear conscience that this particular deal, people's hands are not, running into it, so that we have a clear conscience. We've had that issue with Ghana Telecom. When they came in, they said, oh, Ghana Post, nothing is going to happen to it. When Vodafone took over, they started laying people off and all the circumstances that went with it. Is it the same situation? Is it that government is going to buy it, and then when there's a strategic buyer or somebody buys it, will end up laying staff off and then people losing their jobs again? This government has a track record or a history that we know that they have done it in the past and they continue to do it. They are good at laying people off from work, and we have seen it, and they still stand their grounds today telling us that they have fixed the banking sector. Meanwhile, they never try to talk about those who are sitting at home today who do not have jobs. We as a party, we anticipate that in this transaction of Airtel Tigo, the transaction and the sale, government is not a buyer and somebody who sells. Secondly, we suspect that people are going to lose their jobs in this transfer to government and to government to a strategic buyer.
So how should the conversation go? Because it should be of national interest. That's why the two major parties are speaking to the issue. So if Sam George, for example, is asking for details about the transaction, is it weighed on the suspicions or the fact that you just don't want to trust anything government may want to do in the interest of the public?
We just don't trust anything government may want to do, knowing very well that government has shares already in it. We shouldn't even call for this. Naturally, if it's a government thing, it should be transparent.
But if the publication here, and I know the Communication Ministry issued a statement to it that they bought all the shares for just $1, and they have renegotiated the biggest loan facility that the company took, $100 million, and that is going to be shared in such a way that it will be made appropriate. If we are going to live with the conversation at the time when Ghana Telecom was being sold to Vodafone, that look, the state is not in the business of really competing with the giants in the telecom industry, is it not just fair that at this stage, when the other shareholders have wrapped up and left, the entity becomes
a state property,
and the state obviously will automatically take over?
Seriously,
why cry foul?
Yes, we are not crying foul. We think that to buy it and sell it, Eric, let me ask you this: what is your interest to buy something and sell it at a later time? What is your interest?
To make profit.
Yes. So is government going to make profit in selling it to a strategic buyer? Is that government's business now to be buying and selling? Why not look for the strategic buyer now and sell it straight away?
I'll come back to you. Let's take the submission of Kafui. Kafui, he makes a strong point that, and it's buttressed on the fact that it's not government business at this stage to go and buy the property as we have been made to believe, or take over the property only to look for a strategic partner who may be an interest group.
Thank you, Eric. And then let me say a very good morning to our cherished viewers this morning, and then also to yourself, and then to my senior brother, that is Titi, and then to my constituents, that's Atua East constituency, who are viewing now, watching now. What it is that I get surprised, Eric, on the way the discussion is going and the way the NDC is handling the whole issue. Eric, in an era where we had the NDC in power, because if I say NDC in power, I look at both the PNDC era and then the NDC era. I will not decouple the two, because it is the same party that metamorphosed itself into becoming an NDC party. you look at the situation, and then we had the NDC running after government assets. When they were trying to sell some of government properties, they sold it to themselves. What was the state at that time when they decided that they wanted to sell those properties and they were running after it themselves? Again, what do we see with Ghana Telecom? Ghana Telecom, when ex-President Kufuor took over, was a company that has been messed up by these same NDC people. They've messed it up. The company was in shambles. It was not operating. Even if it was operating below capacity. This was what we saw. Therefore, we needed to bring that company up and ensure that it gets to the level that can bring Ghana up the radar, and then we can get the best out of Ghana Telecom at that time. So Vodafone had to come in. When Vodafone was coming in, it was these same NDC people who have run the company down, who stood up on the issues that they don't even agree to the sale of Ghana Telecom, that we should manage the dead horse and allow the dead horse to go the way it was underperforming. Now look at Vodafone. Vodafone is about the second largest telecommunication company in the country now. Look at how the transformation has come about. When TT was making his submission, he was talking about Ghana Telecom at that time, the sale under President Kufuor, and what went on. You should look at what was the state, what was the legacy you left for us. When we came to meet Ghana Telecom, what was the legacy? The legacy was porous, the legacy was in shambles, and then this was not a company you could write home about on anything. Now look at Vodafone. Look at how good they are doing. Now almost telephone lines is going everywhere. Now they are operating fairly and good. This is what we are talking about. Now you come to the sale of Airtel Tigo.
So NDC collapsed Airtel Tigo. Is that what you are saying?
I am saying NDC collapsed Ghana Telecom. Ghana Telecom is what we are talking about.
The subject is about Airtel Tigo.
You build up the case.
Ownership. Okay.
Absolutely. You build up the case. Right. And once you build up the case, then you need to make the history. The same people who are speaking today, the NDC who are speaking today, in our local parlance, are the same people who have gone to muddy the waters, and they've come back to stand at the other side and asking who muddied the waters.
Which waters are you referring to?
The telecommunication waters. They muddied it under Ghana Telecom. They couldn't manage it. They left it porous, bad. And then when President Kufuor came into power, he saw that there was the need for reactivation and revamp of the company, so the need for the sale. And now we can talk of.
So when you sell estate property, you call that management. Is that what you are saying? Because Ghana Telecom and Vodafone are not the same things. Vodafone has bought Ghana Telecom. It is owned by Vodafone UK, for example, as a parent company.
Ghana, so the country has a share.
It's like you have a car.
We have 30% ownership
and you are not running your car well, and then your father decides to sell the car. Would you say that he's managing the car? Is that the argument you are making?
When your father have the car and he decided that he will leave the car to rot, and assuming he is no more, your father is no more, and there is somebody who have come in as a successor, and he sees that the car your father left can be put into good use by somebody, and then we can have joint ownership. Is it not the best? Would it not be in the best interest of the family? Yes. Government still owns about 30% in Vodafone, doesn't it? And now, if you have 100% in something that is not going anywhere, and you have 100% in something that is going somewhere, which one would you want to take? So that was the state of Ghana Telecom at that time.
Ghana was taking over Airtel Tigo. I am sure you are aware that last year there were issues about government owing its obligation having not been fulfilled, and these are some of the reasons why Airtel Tigo is in the state as we see now. Is that proper management?
That was a situation before the merger. You are talking about a situation before the merger. Eric, in all honesty, if you want to talk about a party that looks at the better management of our economy, it is not NDC. Not. The issue in question is, haven't we seen state companies that could have gone into better management, better hands, being sold to themselves? What is the state of those companies now?
Okay, so let me take some quick rebuttals. He will rebut some of the things you have said, and then you come over and then we continue with this conversation. He said a number of things.
I never got to Airtel Tigo, but that's fine. But let's let him come in, and then I think we have some time.
I thought you have exhausted your time, but if you didn't get there, I'll be fair to you. Just exhaust it.
You see, so we are moving into the era where the Airtel Tigo is moving out. The investor says we are moving out of the country. Government already have a share in such a company. It is prudent for government to step in and say, even I'm the minority shareholder, I would want to take over. Now that we have expanded our infrastructure base, now that telecommunication and then internet service is becoming a hallmark that even in our part of the government, we are talking about digitization. Is it not wise for us to take over? If government is able to put it back on track well, and government says, I have a strategic partner, like the way I did with Vodafone, for that partner to come in and take over and build it back into the state we all want to see. What is wrong with this?
Okay, so let me stop you there, Adam Note. I think by now you've paraphrased what you wanted to say. Titi.
Eric, I thought you would ask him when he made statements that NDC, we bought state-owned companies for ourselves. I thought you asked him to name one or two that...
in South Canary.
Who bought it?
Oh, but you know.
Oh no, we are not.
It was bought by Mrs. Ajimai Kunedu Rollins.
You are sure about that?
Oh yes.
They did go to court.
Oh, but it depends.
You see, you are cast in stone.
No, it's not cast in stone. What is cast in stone?
That issue went to court. I remember very well. In South Canary went to court when your government came to power. You took Nana Kodede to court. I remember the Sheridan case and all that. So
because of the state of purchase.
No.
No, Titi, it was because of the state of purchase.
I don't want us to be doing this back and forth. The truth of the matter is, we are interested to know what the deal entails, especially in the Airtel Tigo transaction. You can give us all the history, and you used all your time to talk about Ghana Telecom and Vodafone. We agree that fine, whatever you are saying now, government has made statements and issued statements that Airtel Tigo is going down and they need to buy it. We don't have any problem. Let us know what the deal entails. We have seen it happen before. That is why we are cautious. Everybody is aware of the famous Ejapa deal that went to Parliament, and it went in the morning and in the evening it was passed without documentation. Later, when it was probed, we looked into it, we realized it was a very, very shamble game. Same thing is happening today. We don't want any trouble tomorrow. That's why we are asking that. Give us full disclosure of what this particular transaction entails. Is government benefiting? Is government getting A or B or C? I don't think that if they've come clean with their hands clear and say this is the transaction, this is the state of Airtel. Airtel is -20. Airtel owes. That is why the strategic investor is leaving. For $1, like you are saying, and we are going to negotiate to make it better. And you let Ghanaians know, I don't think we'll be sitting here discussing, because we know that, like you are saying, it is a good deal for government to buy it. That's why we are asking. I don't think as you sit here, you even know what the details of that transaction is. But because of political gains, you are sitting here to use Ghana Telecom and Vodafone. Let us know the true state of the Airtel Tigo company today, and let us know what government intends to do with it.
He suggested in his submission that the NDC has superintended on the collapse of businesses, i.e. Ghana Telecom, and so at this stage the MPP saw it come up as...
And it's not the same people who said the banks were in a bad state and took over 22 billion cedis of government money and after came back to be taxpayers. It was the same people. So if they say that, like he cited a wonderful proverb that we marry the waters on the hill and come to the downstream and come and look at how dark the color of the water is. It's the same thing they are doing.
They should tell us what it's in. They shouldn't tell us what the end product is. Tell us today so we know. So at least when we come to Parliament, we know that we are approving a deal that we are clear about. It shouldn't be that
some judge not jumping the gun, because, for example, government says we have acquired Airtel Tigo. Government would obviously go to Parliament subsequently for any other decision they want to take involving that company. So for them to be saying now that, oh, come give us the details,
you think it's too early? That let me tell you, these are people we've known them. Oh. We've known them in the last Parliament and how they operate. Before you say Jack, they have closed the transaction. That is why I second Sam George's call now. Even when Parliament is in recess, he's calling for it now. So that this one will not jump the gun. Before Parliament comes back, you'll be surprised before Parliament is called to sit. They'll come and tell us that the deal is closed. What do you have to do? You can't do anything about it. So it's good and it's important we call for it now. If there's a way for the documents to come out for even the parliamentarians or the subcommittee in Parliament to look at it, it is fair. If they think that the deal is a good deal, we can move on. Who matter? It doesn't really matter. But when we have long hands in the deal, we'll have a problem with it. That is why Sam George, Sam George is thinking like I'm thinking. He has a feeling there's a long hand somewhere trying to manipulate something. So, in all fairness, I'm not saying somebody is doing anything. In all fairness, let us see the ABC, period, and then we can move on. Is
that a fair demand?
Oh, but Eric, the truth of the matter is, this deal will have to go to Parliament. Parliament will have to give its consent to it before the deal sees the light of day. If he says these are people we know,
yes, Ejapa is an example.
Ejapa, we took it to Parliament.
Yes.
We gave them the document.
You did what?
Even if it was 2 hours. Even if it was 2 hours, we gave them the document. They can't read, and they didn't want to sit down to read. No, Eric, allow me to flow.
I don't think.
Allow me. He's talking about Ejapa.
Hold on.
Ejapa was passed in Parliament.
Hold on. We are speaking to the nation.
Sure.
It's not fair to say you have given a document to somebody 2 days to time when you know it's one of the major deals that is of interest to the state. And then you say they can't read. I don't think you are being fair to the
If I want to read voluminous books, or there are key pointers that I need to look out for, at least the book will give me a table of content. It will tell me what the book contains. And then I should be able to fish out for what are the key or the core areas that I need to look out for.
Is that how due diligence is?
That is not about it. But you see, the Ejapa deal that even came out has gone back to Parliament. And Eric, I would assure you that this Ejapa deal will come out again.
It doesn't matter, but you'd realize that the Sam George or the NDC may have the right to be suspicious because we have seen PDS gone in and out. We have seen Ejapa gone in and out. We have seen Ameri gone in and out. And if these are major transactions government embarked on, and then even though they may have gone through Parliament, the noise or the anger or the agitations, the revelations force government to back out. Such a deal like Airtel Tigo cannot go without any assurance.
Eric, haven't we seen the NDC made noise that we have 137, we have 137, and then we have an independent candidate which is 138? Didn't we see the NDC made noise that there were some 3 ministers they were not going to approve? What happened to Hawa Kumsin? He got 161. Where was the voice coming from? Wasn't it coming from their own? You see, if you speak the truth and you show it right to them, they would second whatever you are putting across. And that is what we are doing.
I agree. That's what we are saying. Let us see.
So we are not worried. It is going to Parliament.
Okay.
It will see the light of day.
Come 2 hours before time.
Is it not these same parliamentarians that because they are doing the right thing, the party is shaking now? And he has to take them to go and do an emergency meeting because they think that what they wanted to see they are not seeing. The fact is that we will speak the truth. We will bring the truth out, and the truth will see the light of day. That is what we are talking about. When Titi was speaking, he spoke about this banking crisis. She left us a financial industry space that was polarized. A banking sector that could not stand on its feet. A banking sector that was dying.
What year was that?
A banking sector that was sophisticating.
And we have to come in.
What is the state now? Those people,
the state is better.
That was collapsed.
The state is
Have
better.
you been able to punish a single soul? A single soul in that crisis?
What punishment are you saying?
If you are saying we left
punishment
the banks
are you
being
looking
destroyed,
out for?
we supervise a destroying system. I'm only asking this question. You have transitioned and collapsed the banks. Have you been able to punish
the banks were merged? If you don't know, let me tell you,
one person.
The banks were merged. That is why you saw CBG coming up. How many banks were merged together to form CBG?
Have you punished somebody?
No, Eric, Titi, let's educate the people. The banks were merged together, and once there was a merger, it took up a bigger bank to take up all these mergers and bring it into fold. That is what we should be talking about. And the banks are regulated. One thing that you are refusing to know.
Because I have taken it that the two of you are
the host and the
you are doing your own show, so you add your
Eric, the fact is that the banks were regulated. These were regulated institutions, and once they were regulated institutions, the regulator stepped into the mud and tried to settle the issues. And when he settled the issues, depositors who hitherto would have lost their money and would have lost their life. We saw this in 2015 when DKM issues came up. They didn't even have.
Are you suggesting that depositors are not crying that they have not been paid?
They've all been paid.
They have not all been paid.
Those who were not paid, because
in the 2021 budget, government admitted that there were still some people who were supposed to be paid.
Certainly.
And so the narration cannot be that people have
if
been
you
paid.
go to CBG, if you have your money in any of those collapsed banks, what we did was that we packaged it into bonds, and then we were paying you interest at a deferred, and then the principal was going to pay it at a deferred time. This thing that came in, those who couldn't wait for that period of time would have to cash in early and say, I want to go and discount my bonds. That is paper that has been given to you, acknowledging that your money is with the bank. So if you don't have patience to wait, you can go in there and discount your bond and get your money and walk away.
Okay, so Kafui, what's it?
Kofi Amega
is a member of the NPP Communication Team National, and then Titi Kateno is also a member of the NDC Communication Bureau National. I think we have had a conversation on Airtel Tigo, government decision to take full charge of the company, suspicions around government's announcement that after a period they will look for a strategic investor to take over the facility. And the two gentlemen have been agreeing and disagreeing on one issue or the other. But the conclusion is that whichever way it is, even if it goes to Parliament, the details must come out because of previous incidents to ensure that the public purse is protected. Now let's move on to some other discussion. And this one is about two flagship programs government announced. One is the Nation Builders Corps, NAPCO, and the other one is the allowances government restored for trainee teachers and nurses. Now, the two of them have issued a separate statement suggesting that government owes them. In fact, in the NAPCO statement, they said they don't want to hear that monies that government owed and didn't pay last year will be written off as bad debt. And then there's another one about trainee teachers who are saying that the allowances that must be paid should come to them. It is coming at a time when the conversation is that government appears broke and government is finding it difficult to release money, and that was tied to the difficulty in bringing in the second dose of AstraZeneca vaccines. Now, I want to pose a question to Kafui. Is Ghana broke? Is government broke?
How can Ghana be broke, Eric? I'm surprised about your question. The issue we are looking up to is that we have come up with a budget, how expenditure is going to be, how we are going to raise revenues to be able to allow government spend its budget. The question we are talking about, you see, Eric, we have been in a country where we have people that came together after school to form Unemployment Graduate Association, and then they didn't even know where they were going.
we have been in a country where we have seen people who have turned out of age and they were still eating from their mother's pots because they didn't even have jobs to do. They will go and watch and walk under the scorching sun and then come back home and still feed from their mother's pot. This is a government that has come into power. We have also been in a country where we have seen a flag bearer at that time who said even if paying nurses training allowances and teacher training allowances will cost him his seat, he is prepared to lose his seat. That was insensitive. That was heartless. But he stood on his grounds and allowed it to fly. We came into government and all these things were fixed up. Now where would you pass and see Unemployment Graduates Association? No, it has been absorbed by NACO, Nation Builders Corp. And payment of salaries or allowances, you have not heard the Nation Builders Corp people saying government has not paid them since the establishment of that government policy. No. If you are talking about the differences or the lag in unpaid allowances, it is not spanning to about a year. Neither is it spanning to about 6 months. If you look at the teacher training allowances that we are talking about, is it not a government that cancelled it? Is it not a government that was insisting I would institute it? I came in, we instituted. Ask them, haven't they been receiving the allowances? So if there is a break, which is not even spanning up to 6 months, when I read it, it's almost about some 3 months, thereabout. And then they will come back and issue that policy statement. Government is working towards the issues. But when it rains, Eric, it rains on everybody. NACOP training allowances cuts across. It doesn't look at party colors. So when you get people making the noise, our duty is to keep our eyes on the ball.
Okay, so Titi, how do you come in? Their duties on the ball and payments have been made. If they owe, it's not any big news.
You see, it's unfortunate if you are paying somebody 650 Ghana cedis and you sit on top of your roof and blow a trumpet that you've given somebody a job. Excuse my language. It's the impudence of a dying cockroach. It's an insult to look at an average Ghanaian who is a graduate from university and write a check of 650 cedis to the person as a salary. And you say that it is better than the person sitting at home. Let me ask you this question. If the person stays in Osu, where we are today, and goes to work at Ghana Forestry, he takes structure from here to 37 and takes another one to Madina Junction, to Legon Junction, and goes all the way to Gimpa Forestry, goes 21 days in the whole month, how much will be left as a salary, considering his fact that he's eating? And you think that you have done something at home? Let me. You are forgetting what you are missing. You are missing a point. You are creating an impression you've given people jobs that at the end of the day,
it makes a strong point that it's better than nothing, and because the NAPCO program may eventually offer platforms for these children to be trained and eventually absorbed
and integrate into the system.
We have heard that story. We have heard that story. They even created a website saying they are absorbing the people into the mainstream jobs. My question is 650 Ghana cedis an option? When he himself, he can't fill his Nissan Patrol with 650. His car, 650, does not even fill the tank. So if you sit on TV as a graduate yourself and you spew that we are paying graduates 650 cedis, my question is, can't government do something about the 650 and tell me that it is better than nothing? It is a low blow. This year, we haven't even heard that government has increased the minimum wage. I saw a letter flying somewhere a few days ago that government was going to have a consultation to see if they would increase the minimum wage or not. And again, you and I know that the 650 Ghana cedis you are paying the people, it's not right.
I think the conversation is beyond the 650.
You see, going forward, what we expected as the NDC, we said that we're going to increase these stipends that were given to these NAPCO training, because we were not going to cancel.
When you come into power, you were going to increase.
If no, it was conditional, because we felt the 650 was too low. Come to think about it, we spoke about this NAPCO, we spoke about teacher training. They came in and they said they had fixed it. Today we still have the same backlog of teachers not being paid over 6 months. We have nurses not being paid. Nurses haven't issued, but I know for a fact the nurses too haven't been paid. We have nurses, we have teachers, we have NAPCO trainees haven't been paid. So your question to him, if government is broke or not, is neither here nor there. We know government is broke. Government doesn't have money to even pay Ghana Water. Government doesn't have money to pay Ghana Electricity Corporation of Ghana. That is the condition in which we are finding ourselves, that the light goes off and on and they say it's maintenance. Gridco is there, it's struggling. That is the same situation we have that today. Because of Galamsey, government needs so much money to refine the water or to sterilize the water for us to drink. I'm hearing that Pong is going to shut down. They are saying maintenance. My brother, go to the other side of the country. You would find out that the kind of money government needs to invest to be able to sterilize the water for us to drink has shot up in crazy figures. And these are the things that government is not able to find that money. So if government is broke, what changes it? Government is broke, period. Government will find the money and we'll move on. But if you sit here and say government is not broke, but they are now, budget has been read and they are now raising revenues and what have you, the revenues haven't come in.
Now, Kafi, let me come to you. We are looking at productivity here. He suggests in his submission that the amount may not be too big or huge, and for that reason, transport may take all. I know under the NAPCO program, there were some models for revenue collection, models for health, models for teaching, for example. And so if government wants to see these trainees working efficiently on the ground, they should be well motivated. Does it not defeat the objective by recruiting these people to help revamp operations in some of the sectors I've mentioned, and at the same time keeping them under such circumstances? It's not fair to them if I have to speak for them through the statement they issued. I'm sure you have seen.
You see, Eric, national service is where, when you complete your training education, you go in there to give up your service to the nation. Some of these service personnel end up being retained where they did their service.
NAPCO or service personnel?
I'm bringing it back into, I'm taking it from national service and bringing it to NAPCO. NAPCO is offering these young graduates the opportunity to integrate themselves into the working space environment. And then as they go through that training, they will be absorbed into the formal sector. That is the essence. So once they go through that traineeship program, then they will be absorbed into the formals. Some have been absorbed. But you see, you still create the opportunity for others to come in. And I'm also happy. When my big brother Titi was making his submission, and he said, when they had the opportunity, they had the opportunity to come to power, they would have maintained it and would have increased their stipends. That is a good one from him. The program was given by somebody. We have incubated it. It has become a national program, and it is good. You would have wanted to maintain it. But the issue is, it is better than when they were staying at home and they were crying. That is the issue.
But if government is biting more than it can chew, and then you announce a policy for political expediency, and the people are crying, how do you take credit for it?
It is not political expediency.
But it's one of the flagship programs. So the 2021 budget, it is one of the flagship programs, and allocations have been made for it. So MPP cannot run away from it because it is one of your flagship.
We said it, we have delivered. We have delivered.
Are you sustaining it?
Yes. Sustenance is when the program is ongoing. You have not had government coming out to say that the NAPCO program is being cancelled. No. You have not had government saying that teacher training allowance, we have stopped it like other governments did. No. And you see, Eric, a little rebuttal to TT's issue on Galamsey. The problem started from somewhere. And then, once the canker was there, when you come, you solve it, you don't complain. You create the problem. You leave the problem. Solving that problem you created takes time. And Eric, you believe with me that because we were fighting that issue of Galamsey, the reason why we lost most of our seats in those mining areas, but we were not bothered because we were bent in fixing the problem. If we were not bent in fixing the problems and we were mindful of our seats, we would have gone back to eat our own ways and allow it to go the way it was going. So these are the issues. You had the privilege to have saved our water bodies and do it right. You never did. So now you leave the problems. We have to come and fix the problem.
He's repeated one central line that the problems NPP is fixing were created by the NDC. It started from telecom. We've seen the teaching sector allowances taken off and so on and so forth. How does the NDC react to the narrative?
Eric, Ghanaians listened to the stories and the promises of MPP in 2016 and they chose the path to vote for MPP. When I meet communicators on set and they try to still blame the NDC for the woes of Ghana, it amuses me. When John Mahama took over the reins of this country and there was a power crisis, he said, I will fix it, I take responsibility. I am the president, I will fix it, and he fixed it. If today you have used Galamsey as a flagship statement that when you come you would fix it, you have brought in tax, what do you call them, tax forces,
Operation Vanguard,
and what have you, and after 4 years or 3.5 years, you are still to square one because party Hiesika, the famous John Buedu and Peter Amewu tape. The same thing as Charles Bisu. The same thing we have seen the Joy FM tape that they went to do the investigation and caught and saw military personnel and soldiers in the bush. My brother, MPP has failed the fight of Galamsey. So when it comes to Galamsey, don't say you are still fighting because you continue to fight this till 2024 and you will not achieve anything. Look, the Densu, the Pratt, the Tano rivers were all chocolate before they put a stop to Galamsey. Then the MPP found a way to get their people back to work by saying that we are doing community mining. Where is Mr. Uzi? Where are the 500 excavators? Why are the 500 excavators? The excavators found themselves back into the field through party people, MPP party people, in using these excavators to be still mining when the government had placed a ban. Hence, the water bodies turned from chocolate to coffee. And now, when you go after Insalma Duajiri and you fetch that water, all you need to add is sugar. It's this way, you will drink it. Because it has changed from chocolate to coffee. And you sit on set and tell Ghanaians that you are still fighting Galamsey, and the president is able to call and say a stakeholders conference, let's go and fight Galamsey. When you know very well the statement John Boydu made, you know the statement that Peter Amewu made, you made the statement that Professor Frimpong Boateng and his son, and even Haji Aliu Mahama said them DCEs and DCEs were part of this problem in your government. When Charles Bisu was caught on tape taking bribe for this same thing. My brother, I believe in one thing. You are in government. Stop blaming the previous government. I remember what do you call Nana Akufo-Addo calling President Mills Dr. Mr. Doolittle because Professor Doolittle. I beg you, you are in government. Do what you have to do and stop blaming us.
If you don't give them the peace of mind to operate, they will come back at you. That
we will be the positive critics. We will still look at them because we know them. They said they've put a ban on Galamsey. Meanwhile, Galamsey is going on in their strongholds. Galamsey is going on in those areas. That is why the water bodies keep changing from chocolate to now to coffee brown. My brother,
It is, you don't need any rocket scientist to tell you that MPP is still doing Galamsey. They are doing it. So is it a matter of government's inability to be able to crack down the people? Let me ask you these questions. The Chinese people in the bush, why did they pass into this country? Does NDC run the airport? Does NDC run immigration service? No. These people are able to enter our country and go into the forest and do this, Chamfa, whatever they call it, and to muddy the waters and spoil these things. John Mahama struggled to build water town projects. Even in Chebi. You know how much money is going into Chebi to refine the water today? It's high. The possibility they will shut that project down to is high. And we are of the view that they are unlooking the damage their own people are doing to our water bodies. But they fail to act. They fail to crack the whip. They fail to punish.
How do you react to some of these references is made, suggesting that the NPP is good at lip service to huge slogans, and on the ground we have difficulties, and when you are blamed, you turn around to point the accusing fingers at your opponent?
Eric, we live in a country where democracy is a rule of day, where automatically whatever your opponents have done that they didn't do right is what you have come into
after
face.
4 years.
What are you talking after 4 years? After 4 years, haven't we been renewed our mandate? Our mandate has been renewed. And because the Ghanaian have a trust in His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the reason why his mandates were renewed. Those of our MPs who they feel that they couldn't were changed. So typically, Eric, what we are trying to say is that nobody is putting up a blame game. But when you are picking up a rot and you want to fix it, at least you need to give credence to where the rot was picked from, and you're fixing it. If the water bodies were Milo and now it is coffee, coffee is even better than Milo, because coffee will keep you awake. Milo will let you fall asleep flat. So at least we are kept awake to work on the issue. So it's better it's coffee, and then our eyes are wide open and we are not sleeping, than where it was Milo and then they were sleeping on the job. No. So we
why do you guys still blame NDC after 4.5 years? 4 years, 3 months. What has NDC got to do with Galamsey? After 4 years in office, 3 months, you still point a finger at NDC. That is why I have a challenge.
Why wouldn't you have a challenge?
What does you
have a challenge?
You've been in office.
When you messed it up.
We messed it up, so in 4 years you couldn't.
We solving it.
You failed.
What was the failure? We are solving it. When you threw all our cocoa trees off and they were mining it just like that.
Like seriously?
Like real.
Wow. I wish the two of you be rappers. I'll be the singer. Like seriously, say it again.
Like real.
I like it. So let's have the word. Next time when I see you, I say like seriously. But see, I'm realizing that we want to build a country, and we don't want to be factual. And so the NPP would want to stick by its position. The NDC would want to stick by its position. At what point will the two major protagonists agree that, look, this is wrong, this is right, and all of us are forging ahead? I can't see that, and I never see that. And it's a problem for me.
Is it when you,
like many Ghanaians?
Eric, when you pick John Dramani Mahama, humble, honest, very calm person and intelligent. He has a lot of foresight.
But they have described him as incompetent.
Yes, it's a description. It's a tag they put on him, which is not true. Because vindication is in the time of woman.
And where is the vindication? Because many times people will ask, where is it?
When they said John Mahama was incompetent, he has over-borrowed by Bawumia 55 billion. Today, you know what the debt is, over 195 billion. He has been vindicated. John Mahama said, I used some of the money to build interchanges. I used some of the money to build hospitals. I started building schools. I didn't finish. I did some roads.
I build airports. They said, you are incompetent. After 4 years of Nana Akufo-Addo, and you ask any MPP person, no MPP person can sit on set and talk about MPP's achievement without talking about free SHS. Meanwhile, the money used for free SHS is not the debt. It is from the oil money. And how much is it? They promised us and promised us and promised us. You see, at times I get hurt when they talk about Galamsey. You know, people are in jail because of community mining. They arrested people and jailed people. They left Aisha Wang to go free. And these people are rotting in jail, serving their sentences because they were arrested. Meanwhile, these same people are still engaging their people to do Galamsey, and they don't want it is their turn. They will not punish them. It's unfortunate. So if you look at the two parties, we as NDC, we are honest people. When we came into government, they said electricity is a problem. We say yes, we accept it. It's how we came to meet it. We will fix it.
And you didn't fix it.
Electricity?
You didn't fix it.
I'll come to you. You use the same platform to talk about some of the things
you see
you subscribe to. So let's
when NDC was in power, the foresight of John Dramani Mahama was this. He knew about the MCI, the Military Charity Account, MCA, that money was coming to GRIDCO and ECG to be able to fix the transmission lines. So John Mahama knew very well that let's fix generation. When the Millennium Challenge Account money gets in, which is going to GRIDCO and ECG, we use it to fix our transmission lines, and Ghana will be peaceful forever. What did Nana Akufo-Addo and his people do? When John Kufuor was in power, the money came. When it was Professor Mills and John Mahama, the money came. When it got to Nana Akufo-Addo, that is when we had this cumbersome thing. There was a lot of greed, to the extent that the American government looked at Ghana and said, hey, I don't see the way too clear. This money, I'm not giving it to these people because I can foresee the money will not be used for its good intended purpose. So they cut us off. So the intended purpose or the plan of John Mahama's idea of solving the electricity crisis in Ghana forever, which he fixed generation for over 4,000 megawatts of power, hoping that the Millennium Challenge Account was coming to mitigate the transmission lines for ECG forever. My people came in and they brought the PDS transaction, which I don't need to go through because it was an Achim Mafia thing that they wanted to just use long fingers to spoil the pudding. It's unfortunate that
and let me give him the advantage to either rebut or speak to issues about what makes the MPP stand tall.
Eric, I want to ask my brother Titi that he said the American government decided not to give us the money. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh yes, good.
Because Peter Mewu said it was a fraudulent transaction. The minister at the time.
I'm coming. We picked over a country from an ex-president who has then run to the World Bank that he lacks policy credibility. And therefore he went to them that they should give him credibility to his policy. If you yourself lack credibility and then you run to them to give you credibility on your policy, automatically the money will stop coming. No, hold on, Eric, hold on.
Maybe I may help you, then you will understand that I'm mixing issues.
No, I'm not.
IMF 982 or whatever
982
facility that came in had nothing to do with ECG or the MCA account.
Absolutely. You see, Eric, he's making up a case. And whatever the issue might be, would have an underlying current.
Okay, so go ahead.
Visible or not visible, it's a contributory factor. Visible or not visible, it's a contributory factor. So you need to look at the causes and the effect of the issues. Again, it depends on prudent management of our resources. Which leader can manage our resources well and then be able to bring us the novel policy that we all have to see? Now we have kids that are well educated, that are well enlightened. It's because Ghana had oil. President Kufuor discovered oil. We had the NDC saying it was Ajongo, and then it was okay for us. They came, they multiplied the Ajongo into commercial quantities. That was okay. We had the money, and when we came, we put it into prudent use. That is also okay. And when it is wrong, we must say it is wrong. We are saying Galamsey is wrong. We are saying Galamsey is destroying our water bodies. Therefore, the need for prudent and fist arm to deal with the issues. Nobody will sit on set and say that Galamsey should be praised. No. Because the danger we are seeing is that if all our water bodies are destroyed, then where would we get water to drink? So what is wrong? We must be bold enough to say it is wrong.
Okay, so let me do a few text messages, Kafui and TT. Maybe some of them will come with comments that you may want to respond to, and then we wrap up with another brief conversation. Now, Mukaila Jones Adia inside Kerry. Why do you seek to cry more than the bereaved? The NDC themselves aren't ready to accept that there are cracks in the party, so they need help. Out of hypocrisy and propaganda, the NDC claims that all is well with the party, and it goes on and on and on. It's a long message, so bear with me. I'll be cutting some of the longer ones short. Mr. President, in the Galamsey fight, you don't need different evidence to act. Anas and his tiger eye gave you evidence on the same Galamsey, and what action did you see? Nothing from Ablade in a Fiekuma sent this text message. Eben from Kwabenya. My daughter is +1 today. Okay, I didn't. So happy birthday to your daughter. Please let the love be here so much, and baby now. Okay. Now, Masaudu sent this. The current state of the economy is not what Ghanaians would have wished for, but the series of measures being put in place would help in reviving it. President Akufo-Addo has assured Ghanaians that he's on track, and that's the message that came from Masaudu. A correct call says, Nana Addo and Bawumia have destroyed Ghana, and there is no MPP future. They have nothing for Ghana, and they are only limited to corruption and lies. As for Bawumia, we feel pity for him because he's incompetent, and Nana Addo is destroying the road for him. Galamsey fight, everything has failed. Mustafa from Lower Manya Krobo. The important thing is that John Mahama handed over a fixed power supply, stable middle-income country, increasing health infrastructure, development and stable education system to Nana Akufo-Addo together with Dr. Bawumia, but they took over it to low, poor and substandard regime. They are taking Ghana backwards again. It says, Honorable Davido, my greetings to him. Good morning, TVXYZ. I am Nanase Redeemer, watching you live inside Bechim. I really like both parties on how they are comporting themselves, and I would like to encourage them to continue with it. I want to find out the reason why our allowance has not been paid the whole semester. And this text message came from Nase Redeemer, watching from... Now, Ghana Telecom, good morning, Eric. Ghana Telecom was not in shambles. The Kufuor administration needed money to run the budget at the time. Kwame Pienim revealed the reason behind the sale of Ghana Telecom. George in Lima, Gomoa Eshiem, sent this text message. I am Alex and saddened by the MPP man comment that customers of the collapsed banks are all paid. I wish to state that it is a fat lie. My Provident Fund is over 20,000 and other colleagues are locked up GN Bank with our organization and not yet paid. What is he lying about? So Alex sent this text message. Patrick sent a message. He says, good morning, please. I want the MPP man to know that 5 banks were liquidated and some of the assets were given to GCB and other assets and liabilities consolidated. It does not mean they were merger. The fact is UTGN, RGB, Consolidated Bank, ATC were liquidated, and liquidation means closed down. Patrick sent this text message. Good morning, Mr. Hianyo. Please kindly tell the EC to pay the officials who work at polling stations for them. I have a number of text messages today. This one, Mr. Eric, kindly ask the MPP man how many months they owe the NAPCO people He told them after 2 years they will get proper job. From JD in Cape Coast sent this text message. NPP lost control. Oh, your brother, never again. TT from Medina sent this text message. Good morning, Mr. Host. I can see the NPP man on your show is an Ewe man. Does he see himself as a Ghanaian since his party, the NPP, described the Voltarians as Togolese? All Voltarians must see this guy as an enemy. As a, oh, it was how they kind of Famano. No, really, give it to you.
Good morning, host. I can see the NPP man on your show is an error man. Does he see himself as Ghanaian since his party, the NPP, described all Voltarians as Togolese? All Voltarians must see these guys as enemy of progress. All they know is their stomach and nothing else. American stomach gets these days.
Okay, I'll end it. I'll read the rest before the end of the show, but that's on the lighter side. Mr. Togolese, how are you? Now let's conclude on another issue that should be of interest for all of us: management, case management. Ghana Water Company. There is nothing wrong if they have to do routine maintenance.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not too sure of, I don't see the clarity in the announcement. Last week it said today to Friday, the Ashaman Teman enclave will go out. And then yesterday to, I saw a statement saying many parts of Ghana East, that's Accra East, will also be affected. I have the list, I'll read a few of them, so that if you live within that enclave, you can go. So 3 minutes each, I just leave it. How do you think Ghana Water Company should be managing this in tandem with the expectation of the people? Because the reality is many live in areas where we don't have boreholes, we don't have large reservoirs, they are poor people, so they don't have containers to store enough water, and this may persist for at least 4 days. Let me start with you, TT. 3 minutes, I won't talk.
I think once the Ghana Water and Sewage, sorry, Ghana Water is aware of the ahead or intended closure, they should be able to, get these water tankers and what have you in place to be able to supply people with water. It's not everybody who keeps barrels and, polytanks in their homes, and it becomes a challenge if you run water directly from the main taps and you do not store water. So I would entreat Ghana Water that they should put in place, water tankers in designated areas to be able to supply people with some water during these 3-4 days, not to cause a little chaos, because I know water is life. That's why we all recommend, and I will advise my brother Kafui to be drinking X mineral water. You see, water is life, and I suggest that everybody would drink.
And this is mineral water.
This is mineral water, not
purified
water. It's mineral water.
Look at the way Kafu is looking at the water.
I know he would begin to drink.
And this body can
we supply
this body can take one carton maybe in 2 hours.
It's important you start.
Today I'm putting you on the spot.
I'll be buying them in large quantity.
Thank you very much.
That's good.
It is good for us that Ghana Telecom will put in place. So Ghana Water Company will put in place, water tankers,
especially the essential service. Kafu, let me take a brief comment from you.
Eric, I think TT has said it all. When Ghana Water was putting in the scheduled maintenance, he said schools in the areas, water tankers will go and supply them. Hospitals, same. And then those who don't have the large polytanks to store water, there will be also the polytank system in those areas to ensure that there's constant supply of water. I believe that maintenance is good. Once you're able to keep in the maintenance culture and we get it right, then it means that whatever it is like, you only see that the end result should be positive. Ending my issue on this water project, Titi, Eric, I'm happy to read and to say that NDC want to revive the dead horse. They want to revive the dead horse. Not selecting the rider.
Spend some time on it.
So this one by Dr. Benkumbo
on the front page.
There's some dead horse somewhere, so it needs to be revived, and that is a good one.
Who do you think is the dead horse?
That's one.
Because somebody says the MPP is scared of one name.
What name is that?
The dead horse.
Oh, but that name there. When it has been defeated twice.
I am getting you speak out what you think the dead horse is.
Me, it is you who is bringing it. Okay. This is just a teaser. You are giving me an appetizer.
When we have a government that hasn't been formed and internal deliberations are going on and who becomes the next flag bearer, where now the people are issuing statements from the north that if it's not Bawumia, they will defect from the party. And if it is Alan Chairman-Ting, then it's an Ashanti business. We sit on the flip side and we're still keeping our heads above sea level. When it gets to our presidential primaries, we would vote for who we choose, because as at now, we don't even know those who will be contesting for the presidential primaries. For people to start saying there's a dead horse and there's a sleeping horse and there's a horse running. For us, we are poised, and as a party, we do not discriminate who leads the party. It could be from the Volta region, it could be from the central region, it could be from the north. But in their case, as they sit today, they are sitting on a jagged edge. And I entreat them that the earlier they put their house in order to stamp authority to stop the internal wranglings of who leads the party, when they even haven't formed government to be working, it is a challenge for the party. Okay, and I expect them to. Let me give you a minute
to speak to the concern he has raised, because I have 2 minutes to finish my text message.
He's not raising the concerns.
Okay, so I should move on.
He's not raising the concerns.
All right, I like you. You know why?
They can't dribble me.
I like you.
OPK Nanado in Goss says Nado has taken Ghana to the highest level with his good governance after the clueless and super incompetent Mahama and NDC messed up the economy. This one says, Mr. President, sorry, I was reading an earlier message. So, Mr. President, the Galamsey fight, you don't need different evidence to act. And NAS as Tiger Eye has given you evidence, and if you want to fight corruption, fight it and stop the noise. Some of them send the messages here and send them to the other platform as well. Charles Nyame in Asamanka says, under the leadership of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, this is Ghana today. Economy is in shambles, education is in shambles, energy sector is in shambles, one calamity after the other every day, no show of leadership whatsoever, and the system is just not working. Never again to this mistake government. Charles Nyame sent this from Asamanka. I told you earlier about spot fines, and I said that the police has released it, and from next week, when they catch you, you must know what you are going to pay. You get a copy and you chop it. Now what you list, no who offense, then you pay the spot fine. We'll put it on the screen and I'll go through a few of the spot fines. It says non-conformity with restrictions on horns and sirens. If you blow your horns and sirens by heart, especially if you reach the hospital, your fine will be 300 cedis. I beg my producers if they can put it on the screen. If Abuaje is listening to us as we discussed, let's put it on the screen now. Now, driving motor vehicles without reflectors front and back, your spot fine is 60 cedis. Failure to carry advanced warning devices, we have 300 to 600 cedis. So there it is on the screen. So I'll just move through some of
obedience.
them. And then, is that what?
Obedience to the police and then fire personnel.
Have you seen it there?
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
So obedience, if you can read it. I don't know.
Obedience to police and the fire service officials, 120.
120
So
cedis.
if you want to be obedient to, you pay money.
A person being in excess, on an excess passenger on vehicle, 60 cedis. So I won't comment much. We'll have our conversation. It will be on the screen soon. I'm sure they'll move on to another slide. And your chope, no, a car did. So exceeding
obedience.
The prescribed number of persons, as I read, obstructing intersections and pedestrian crossings.
You've jumped what I wanted you to read.
Which one?
Obedience.
The obedience.
Obedience to police and fire service officials, 120 cedis.
So if you want
parking
to be
in highway
you pay
and
money.
town road, 120 to 300 cedis. So there it is. I'm sure this discussion will continue some time later. Kafui Amega, is that Amega? The person name is Amega.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being on the show. Titi, short notice, and we are so grateful you made it. And it's been an exciting conversation. Nana Bena Sewa, some of you say you want us to close the show with her because you want to see her. You want to see black secret around her to end the show. At least, I'm also wearing black secret. At least, look at me properly. Let me remove my face, the face mask. And say thank you. Bye for now.